Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, a free site, bettingangle.us, a free site. Today is Thursday, June 9th, 2022. Let's talk about Game 3 of the NBA Finals. But first, remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Now, a few observations on Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Lost on the under. I had something like a 214.5 or 214. The final point total was 216. Just be aware that the Boston Celtics scored fewer points in the third quarter than they did the second quarter. They scored fewer points in the fourth quarter than they did the third quarter. The Golden State Warriors scored 11 points in the fourth quarter. Understand the series is trending toward defense, right? My pick for Game 4 is going to be the under, at least one of them anyway. I'll continue crunching numbers. Let's talk about betting opportunities. Before Game 3, we talked about the huge opportunity, and it was huge, on the props for who would win Finals MVP. Right at that time, I pointed out that Jaylen Brown was going off at an 8-1 number. Right? I also talked about Marcus Smart's ridiculous numbers, which was over 60-1. Understand the market's adjusted. Jaylen Brown now is down to a plus 350 to win Finals MVP. Even that's a bargain given his Game 3. Marcus Smart's at 50-1. I want you to look closely at his Game 3 numbers. I want you to realize that he's the man D'ing up Steph Curry. Right? Let me point out on the Steph Curry part of the play, Curry's going off at a plus 200 to win Finals MVP. That's not a good bet. Get the whole team. You saw signs of life in Game 3 from Klay Thompson. Andrew Wiggins, who was 1 of 6 from 3, also had a decent Game 3 otherwise and is playing great defense. Right? My point to you is the premium you're getting on simply Curry to win Finals MVP isn't enough to warrant the bet, because right now you're getting a plus 192 on the Golden State Warriors simply to win the series. Right? I believe that's the better play if you're on the Warrior side of the ledger. Right? Golden State plus 192 simply to win. This way they can give the Finals MVP to anyone on Golden State. You don't care. You're in the line to collect at almost the same odds that you're getting now with Steph Curry simply to win MVP. Let's talk about what really happened, though, right? What I've just laid out here. And by the way, Wiggins is 15-1 still to win Finals MVP. But what really happened in the game? And let's get away from what the public thinks. Let's talk about what really happened. Boston, 52 points in the paint. Right? They were outdone in terms of points in the paint in Game 3. They come out in Game 4 and they dominate points in the paint. Also, Boston, 16 more rebounds than the Golden State Warriors. Right? So the Warriors were worked inside, both in terms of scoring and in terms of rebounds. Let's also talk about who really is the most valuable player for Boston. I know Jaylen Brown looked great, right? He had a plus 7, plus minus. When he was on the court, his team scored 7 more points than the Golden State Warriors. Would it shock you to know that in 26 minutes, Robert Williams, that's the guy, registered a plus 21, right? A plus 21 in terms of plus minus. You see all these great interviews. The post-game interview was of Jason Tatum. Understand, neither Tatum nor Jaylen Brown. And those are the top 2 guys odds-wise to win Finals MVP if Boston wins. Right? Those are the top 2 Celtics. Neither of them had a plus 21. Robert Williams did. So from this seat, just looking at the analytics, Robert Williams continues to be the most important Celtic. Now you need to understand that Robert Williams had surgery on his meniscus. Robert Williams, as great as he is not fully Robert Williams right now. He cannot play extended minutes. Even yesterday, he played less than 30 minutes. I need for people to take a step back on the series, right? Just understand neither team has won 2 games in a row in the series. I know Boston has taken home court advantage away from the Warriors. They were losing that game 5 minutes into the fourth quarter. That's the first game, where they then go on a tear and take game 1. Right? The series is that close. Right? The fact that Boston lost the points in the paint in game 2 and comes back and dominates points in the paint in game 3. The fact that Jaylen Brown, who isn't a three-point shooter, hits 50% of his threes, 4 of 8. Right? Not 1 of 2, but 4 of 8 in game 3, and Boston wins. Doesn't tell me that Boston has a decided advantage on the Golden State Warriors. Right? I can't tell you. I'm still leaning with the Warriors, by the way, to win the series. I can't tell you who's going to win game 4. But I don't consider this series to be a fait accompli. I think it's still up in the air. Especially if Robert Williams is not playing meaningful minutes. And understand, he did not play meaningful minutes in game 2. They're pacing him. Look at the plus minus, folks. He is the difference maker. That's not how the public sees it, given the odds order on who's most likely to win MVP. But that's the reality. So here's what I think happens. Take the rebounding gap. Just understand that there's a game this playoff season involving the Warriors against the Memphis Grizzlies, rough and tumble team, where the Warriors pull down 70 boards. The rebounding gap can be addressed. Understand, certain Warriors hardly played yesterday. And Andre Iguodala, who's healthy now, hardly played yesterday. Steve Kerr has a lot to work with. Understand, as it was, the Warriors stormed back in the third quarter of game 3. The Warriors understand they have a shot in game 4. So, here are the bets I'm looking at. Right after 3 games of this series. First, my basic thesis, and I did think the Warriors would be doing better than they are, is that the Warriors are the better team. They're the more efficient team. In my opinion, they have the higher ceiling. Right? I fully expect Jason Tatum to have another game like he did the first game. Understand, too, anytime a player has a plus minus of minus 36, that's historical. To me, that almost completely rules out Jason Tatum from winning the Finals MVP if Jaylen Brown continues to produce like he's been producing, and if Marcus Smart, who's 30-1 right now, continues producing like he's producing. Right? Just understand that. So I fully expect Jason Tatum to have another off game like he had the first game. I fully expect Jason Tatum to have issues again like he did the second game. in terms of total effectiveness, the plus minus. I fully expect the Boston Celtics, as they did in the Bucks series, as they did in the Heat series, to have a game that looks like it should be a coronation. Right? Game 6 of both series. And then to come out and to be a little flat. Game 6 of the Miami Heat series. Right? And so let's talk about the plays that have caught my eye. First, to win the whole thing, the Golden State Warriors are a plus 192. Folks, they're only down 2-1 after 3 games. Right? After 3 games, one team's going to be up 2-1. It's the Celtics. I'll agree. Game 4 is critical for the Golden State Warriors. Point conceded. But are you sure that Robert Williams will be able to come out and play 26 minutes again? Don't you think he and his coach are privately targeting Game 6 for him to come out and really play extended minutes? Right? I'm talking about the guy who had the biggest plus minus in Game 3. Right? So Golden State plus 192 to win the whole thing. I like that. You're actually getting leverage on the team that was favored to win the series going into the series. Right? If Golden State wins the next game, folks, they have home court. You're not going to get a plus 192 again. Right? Let's throw out another bet I like, other than the under in Game 4. I like Golden State. This is a handicap bet. Look it up. Golden State plus 1.5 games. You're getting that at a plus 102. In other words, you're getting it at better than even money. Right? Better than even money. A plus 192. A plus 102. Now, the only way Golden State, right, is able to benefit from a plus 1.5 games is if they make it to a Game 7. In other words, if Boston closes this out in 6 games, if home court holds the rest of this series, you lose the bet. But understand what this bet does for you. The minute the series goes 7 games, if it does, you've cashed your ticket. You can watch Game 7, you can relax, you can exhale. You know you'll be getting a smidge over even money, regardless of what happens. Right? Boston can win in 7. They won't cover the 1.5 game spread. Right? Just understand that. If Golden State wins in 7, great, but that's gravy. Because you've won the minute the series is pushed to 7. And you're getting better than even money. You're never going to get this bet again if the Golden State Warriors win Game 4. Right? You want to grab this play here. Right? So to sum up,